Hi, everybody. It's episode 415 of PodQuest.
Hey.
What?
It's Tuesday, July 26th, 2020. I am Chris, with me is Druten.
Hello.
And Walnut.
You almost messed that up.
I did, because I did not I changed the day of the week, but not the number.
Wow.
Hey,
Wow.
At least I realized it wasn't the 20th, and, looked down at the clock.
It would have been great if you said it's 20th, because here's the thing. I don't think any of us would have paid attention.
Probably not.
Yeah, no, you're probably right. But I knew it was the wrong day, and I caught it.
But it's the right day. It was just the wrong date.
But no, the Tuesday wasn't the 20th.
But it was Tuesday was the day. The date was the 20th. It's the right day, the wrong date.
Yeah, but it would have still been wrong, because Wednesday was the 20th.
I mean, yes, it would have still been wrong, but today is Tuesday. So you were right that it's Tuesday.
Okay. I will give you that. I was right.
The day
you
is
were wrong.
right. The day is right. The date is wrong.
Oh, it is a Tuesday, isn't it?
It's such a fucking Tuesday, man. Let me tell you. I got mad at somebody at work.
It feels like a Tuesday.
Oh, yeah. It does. I'm so tired of Tuesday. I'm actually still drinking my morning coffee.
Damn.
Ugh.
I mean, it's a little chilly, but it actually tastes good. It's got, some fruity hints to it, and so it just, it's, the very end of it, and I'm just, kind of sipping it a little bit here or there, because it tastes good.
It's weird. I prefer iced coffee over hot coffee.
Mm-hmm.
But I cannot drink, room temperature coffee.
No, it has reached the point, and it's also at the very bottom, which I guess I grind my, beans too much, even though I tell it to be very, coarse, but I guess I grind it too much to where I still get some coffee in my coffee itself, so it's starting to get a little chalky. So it's to the point where I'm I'm not going to finish this. I'm not going to drink any more of it. But it's just it gives me that little bit of a upper boost of caffeine.
Yeah, it's just weird. Once hot coffee has become cold, I want nothing to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
But if it was hot coffee that was immediately poured on ice and then had things added to it, that's an iced coffee. I'm fine with that.
What if it was coffee that was brewed cold?
I mean, that's fine too. Cold brew.
Yeah, I love cold brew.
Yeah, that's my go-to is cold brew or just iced coffee in general. I very rarely will get a hot coffee. Hot coffee's not refreshing, and generally I'm not drinking coffee just for the caffeine. I'm drinking it also to have a beverage.
Mm-hmm.
Same reason I don't often drink hot tea when I want a drink. I drink hot tea because it's cold out and I want something warm.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the opposite with coffee. I never drink coffee because it's cold out and I want something warm.
Yeah, I'll do coffee because I need the caffeine. And normally when it's warm, I go iced coffee. But in the morning, it's kind of just always hot coffee.
Man, I started you know how they sell those cold brew the La Colombe and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I started buying the half-gallon jugs or whatever of that. And I have one of those insulated travel mugs. I fill that up with it, and I put some honey and almond milk in there, and it's cold the whole day.
Mm-hmm.
I did it at 6:30 this morning, and I finished it at 3 o'clock this afternoon, and it was still just as cold as it was first thing this morning.
Yeah,
Nice.
those insulated things are real good about that.
Yeah, it is slightly unsettling. This one in particular, very good, because during the winter I was putting hot tea in it, and it was the same deal. The tea was being made at 6:30 in the morning, and it was still almost too hot to drink at lunchtime.
Damn.
Yeah, it's a good one.
When I went to the Beer and Wine Fest in Philly, they had this one company there. I believe it's called Transfusion, or at least that's the no, it is. It's powered by Lacombe Coffee, but it's called Transfusion is the brand, I think, and they make cans of iced Irish coffee.
Okay.
And it was so good. I had 3 or 4. You get a little cup and you just drink from the cup. I had 3 or 4 of them, and it kept me awake and it kept me going the rest of the night. But
Nice.
yeah, I've been trying to find them. I think somewhere local has them, but I can't actually find the website anymore for the official website for the seller. But yeah, it was so good.
And actually, Rich, you might I don't know if you've seen it. There's a Harry Potter themed bar in Philly now.
I've seen it. Sure.
It actually, like, I took Erica there for her birthday. It's actually kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they do all, like, the fancy drinks.
I think the roommates went there, and they had a blast, and I'd probably go at some point, but, like, I don't have to go, and I don't really, I don't really care to go to bars that much anymore. Like, I'm assuming this is just a hangout bar, though, and it's not like a big, ooh, let's go party bar, which is more my speed, like the hangout bar, but at the same time.
It absolutely is. Like, it's,
Yeah.
So, like, part of it is meant for, like, the, like, ticketed, like, event thing they do, where, like, you actually, like, mix your own cocktails with, like, dry ice and weird shit to make, like, chemical reactions.
Yeah.
And then the other half is literally like a bar and like some like comfy chairs and stuff like that you can just kind of like hang out in and order like their like weird, what's that word for like when people like use weird chemistry with food? Gastronomy?
Yes.
Yeah, chemical gastronomy or something like that, yeah.
Yeah, like they do like that sort of stuff. So like we saw one drink come out where it was some, I don't know what the actual drink was with, but it was made with like smoke, like the type of smoke you'd use for like smoking meats. Mm-hmm. So like it smelled like a campfire, and it came with like a glass dome over it, so that like it kept the smoke in until you were ready to drink it.
Yeah,
and then like they use a lot of like stuff that like color changes things when you pour it and stuff like that. It was neat.
Yeah, I mean it sounds cool, sounds fun, but it's like when you talk about it. It makes me think of the bachelor party episode of Parks, where
everyone got sick off of Panzerotis, or was that no? That was a different episode.
That wasn't the bachelor party episode. That was a different episode.
And they were calzones. I'm sorry.
They were having a bachelor party for Ben, and all he wanted was a game night. But they were like, "You gotta want something else." And then they all got to talking about how none of them actually got to have their own bachelor party.
Oh, and so, that's right. And they all went and like. Right.
Yeah. So for like Aziz's bachelor party, they went to this place that like Ron ordered a like a vodka or something like that, and they came and started rubbing it on his hands and shit like that. It was I
remember that episode. That was a good episode.
Yeah, it was.
Honestly, past season 1, most episodes of that show were good.
Yeah, probably I would say better than The Office, but I still love The Office.
Yeah, no, like. While The Office has a lot of very funny moments, I feel like 1-for-1, Parks and Rec has more. This isn't gonna. I don't think this is grammatically correct, but they have more better episodes.
No, that's correct.
Yeah, like The Office was fine, and I understand why people love it, and like it really does have a lot of funny bits. But I don't know, something about Parks and Rec and just how stupid some of their stuff could be without being mean spirited, the way a lot of the stuff in The Office was.
Yeah.
Which. I don't think we talked about it on here. Did you see the Lego set for The Office?
No. I didn't realize. I feel like maybe I did know that they were doing it, but I like Legos, but I'm not into it like my brother is, so I don't really follow it that much.
So this one it's a little too big. Like, it's one of those ones where you need like a large house where you can put that if you're going to build it, because it's like, it's the office. It's the whole office, except for the annex, but including the conference room in Michael's office. Mm-hmm. And it's got, I want to say, all the characters up to season 4. So it doesn't have like Erin or actually I think she was the only one that like was like on it the rest of the time after being introduced. But it's got a bunch of like just little like Easter eggs. Like it's got the big iron pot of chili.
Yeah.
And it's got little Lego pieces to put inside of it that are brown like chili.
Mm-hmm.
So just, a lot of like funny little Easter eggs in there. It was good.
It's pretty. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah. But that said, Rich, what is on the agenda?
So, on the agenda tonight, whenever you're listening to this, we're gonna have a quick conversation about KOTOR, the remake. Then Cobb, you played some MetaQuest 2. I played some other video games. Then Cobb played another video, and then San Diego Comic-Con was this weekend.
Yeah, and the MetaQuest 2 is the VR headset.
Oh, I didn't. I thought that was an actual fucking game.
No, it's the Oculus Quest was rebranded as the MetaQuest.
Okay, yeah, I thought there was a game called MetaQuest.
Nope.
And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if, I'm not saying there is, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was a game called MetaQuest and it was all meta humor and meta commentaries and shit.
Yeah, honestly, it wouldn't be that surprising.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if either of you saw the news. Like, I saw it go up, like, right before we started recording. Apparently that Knights of the Old Republic remake was indefinitely delayed.
Yeah, they apparently fired 2 producers or something like that.
2 directors.
Or directors, that's what it was.
Yeah, and then Aspire abruptly fired 2 directors this month and told staff that the project is on pause as it tries to figure out what comes next.
Why did they... I wonder why game's art director and design director were fired.
Yeah, it's... they apparently refused to have any comment or anything, but it sounds like it was unexpected. And yeah, that's a bummer, because I was actually really looking forward to that. Because I wanted to play Knights of the Old Republic, but I don't want to play the originals because they don't play well on any modern platform. Like, I'm pretty sure every port of that game is the Steam port that is potentially broken.
They play perfectly fine on phones.
Yeah, fuck that.
Honestly, it'll probably look better on your phone than it would on your monitor.
I mean, you are probably right, but I don't want to do that at all. And I know, like, they just ported it to Switch too, but I'm pretty sure it's the Steam port that. And Drew, I think you actually had you found the same bug. There's like a known bug in that game where it hard crashes basically, like it locks up entirely after combat.
Yeah, that was the issue I ran into playing that, and that's why I've never played more than 10 minutes of that game.
Yeah, and there's no way to get out of it easily. Like, you kind of have to just quit the game and go back in and hope that you have a recent save. Yeah, and hope that it doesn't happen again.
Well, the issue I had was I would save and quit, get into the next combat, it would happen again. I'm like, I'm not saving and quitting after every combat.
Yeah, not in that game where, like, in that, like, corridor section, like, there's combat, like, every 3 feet.
Yep.
But yeah, like, I know I saw, like, a post on, like, a forum from, like, 2013 that there was a way on the Steam version to, like, go in and, like, edit, like, a .ini file to resolve it sometimes.
Probably.
But, like, that's not okay. Come on now.
I mean, if it's a free mod or whatever, if it's something that you don't have to be super technically savvy to do, and it's a game you really want to play, then you're gonna do it.
Like, it's not a mod. It's literally going in and editing system files for the game.
Yeah, but if it's easy to do and it's something that you can find a walkthrough for, and you really want to play the game, you're gonna do it. Is what I'm saying. Like,
I mean, that's true. And, like, I wanted to play it. I didn't want to play it on PC that bad. And not enough to, like, have to constantly mess with system files anytime there was any sort of, like, change to the game files. Because that's just, at that point, like, it would either be opening that file up every single time to see if the change was still there, or potentially running into the game-breaking bug and having to, like, lose progress and redo it. But, yeah, so I was looking forward to this one, because I'm like, oh, cool, like, it'll be a new take on there, like, you know, see what they do with it. I have to imagine, while they're saying indefinitely delayed, it's a Disney property. Like, I can't see Disney just being like, okay, yeah, no, good. Like, we're just going to throw this on the back burner. Like, Disney let it get announced, they're going to get that game out if it's in any sort of playable fashion.
So, I Googled real quick if the Switch Knights of the Republic... I wrote, does Switch Knights of the Republic crash? And, apparently Aspire fixed something from KOTOR 2. This year, so...
Oh, did Aspire do the ports for those games, too?
According to the website, yeah. According to this first article, yes. Can I play KOTOR without crashing? That's just on PC. So, like, maybe the Switch port doesn't have the issues?
It's possible.
For KOTOR 1? I mean, they fixed KOTOR 1. Or they fixed KOTOR 2, so I don't know if they fixed KOTOR 1.
Yeah, I did not realize that they were the ones doing all of those ports. They did Republic Commando, both KOTORs, and Force Unleashed.
Oh yeah, they're who's the developer? BioWare. They wiped their hands of this years ago.
Oh yeah, no. I know BioWare had nothing to do with those ports, but, like, Aspire's doing all of them. They did the port for Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast, Episode 1 Racer, Jedi Academy. Like, Jesus, they were, like, all the way in with Star Wars for a while there. They go back far enough that they actually did the PC ports, it looks like, for Knights of the Old Republic 2, the Force Unleashed 2. Oh, I'm sorry, that was the Mac OS port for Knights of the Old Republic 2. And the iOS port for Knights of the Old Republic. Huh. I mean, good for them.
Apparently, there is a game-breaking bug in the Switch version of KOTOR 2 that was just found a month ago and still needs a patch.
KOTOR 2 TOO or
No,
TW?
Number 2.
TW.
Okay.
Which, I mean, that was, they, I guess they keep finding them because, like, they just fixed one at the beginning of the month, so.
I mean, that's, unfortunately, old games are just riddled with bugs. I remember seeing, I want to say it was an EA person posted about it, like, or an ex-EA dev, who basically said, bugs in games were categorized by, A, B, C, D, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was debugs were game breaking, had to be resolved, and B and below were minor annoyances or unlikely to happen, so they could be ignored. But in a lot of their annualized franchise, like your sports games, they just copy the base code from game to game. There's no fundamental change to it. So these games just have bugs kind of inherently in them that then just move from generation to generation and get worse and worse. And as long as they never go above a B-level bug, they just never fix them. And it gets to the point where nobody could fix them because they don't even know where it starts.
Yeah.
And, that's crazy. I get it, though, because, when you're working on those annualized franchises, you have 12 months to get that game done. If that. Because it's not... As far as I know, and Drew, you might know more just because I know you play some of these games, I don't think EA has, multiple Madden teams or stuff like that.
No, not really. They're, EA Sports has Tiburon and Canada, and basically Tiburon is the Madden team. They're down in Florida, and then Canada does most of the other sports games. They definitely did NHL, and I think they do FIFA.
And then I thought somebody else did FIFA.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. But, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. But even then, I'm sure those studios are large and they have, 75% of the team moves on to the next year's game when the previous year's game is in, the polish phase.
Mm-hmm.
But that's still, you're constantly working on Madden and you have a finite amount of time to get that game fucking ready for the next one.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, hopefully they figure out the KOTOR 2 nonsense and get that shit back on track. Hopefully it's, honestly, hopefully, those two guys weren't pieces of shit, which, in this sort of situation, that could be the problem.
Mm-hmm.
But, hopefully it was just, they were having creative differences with, the people in charge at the studio, and maybe the game wasn't looking the way that the studio wanted to look because of the way Disney wanted to look, and they just decided to, get rid of them and bring in new people or something.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks either way, but...
Yeah, this was a game that I wanted, just because I love the original, but, I mean, I also don't need it. I could just, like I said, I could go back and play the original if I really wanted to. So yeah, it sucks. Hopefully they do get it fixed, hopefully they do get somebody to get the work done, but, yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, we will see. Oh, what's next?
MetaQuest, the game that you played.
This guy, not knowing technology.
Why the fuck would I know more about Facebook, huh?
That's valid. Yeah, I bought Erica a Quest 2 for her birthday.
Mm-hmm.
We have friends that had one and she tried it and she really liked it.
Just in time, they announced the price is going up $100.
Did they really?
Yeah.
What for?
Supply chain costs.
Nice.
Essentially.
I hate Facebook.
Yeah, I missed that.
It just happened today.
It is actually very cool hardware. I will say that. Way more convenient.
I've heard.
Way more convenient than the PSVR. The fact that it is wireless and it's its own thing. The games actually look really good in there. You can stream Steam VR stuff to it. Because it's got a desktop streaming mode.
Mm-hmm.
The friends we have that have one, when we were at their house, they pulled up Half-Life Alyx and
Nice.
streamed it to the Quest, and it actually still played and looked really good, even basically wirelessly streaming to that hardware. But Erica bought Beat Saber and a couple other games that are kind of in line with the stuff she plays. But I tried a little Beat Saber, and Beat Saber is actually as cool as it looks.
Yeah. I've always wanted to play Beat Saber. I've always wanted to get it. I'll never at this point have the money for a VR system.
No, not for going up. Jesus.
No. But like I would have the space to be able to play it, but I wouldn't have like the money for it, and it just the game looks so fun, looks so great. I know I'd be terrible at it, but I want to do it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, next time you're over, you're welcome to give it a shot.
Man, you're gonna record me and embarrass me. It's fine. I already shook my butt like Shakira on Steam stream, so
Yeah, so you know, it won't be anything different.
no, not at all.
But it is cool. The downside is at least like so the Quest version doesn't have like mods, and from what Erica actually was looking this up too. All of the Steam mods are just expert, so unless you're at an expert level, you can't really play those anyway. But the song selection in that game's not great. Like,
it's because everyone gets their songs off mods and off the store. Like the song selection in that game base was unlicensed songs and shit.
No. I mean, like the packs of songs you can get are not great.
Because
like,
are you getting legit songs from the company, or are you getting mods?
No, that's what I was just saying. The Quest does not do mods. Steam does mods. They are not official, and you can only play them expert. They do not have difficulties on the mods, because it's like one person went in there and made a song, like a track to a song they like, as hard as it can possibly be. Erica and I, not good at this game yet. Cannot play on anything more than like easy, maybe normal on some songs. And even then, like the normal ones get kind of hard.
Yeah.
But like, so there's a Green Day album pack. Arguably, only 3 of the songs are even remotely good, and they're all relatively new. The oldest song on there is Minority.
Okay. Yeah, that's wow.
And then like it's got that Father of All, which is a bad song. Like, I love Green Day. That's a shitty song off of their worst album.
I don't even think I remember that song.
It was the most recent album that actually nobody liked, and I don't. Drew, you might remember for sure. I don't think they played a single song off of that at Hella Mega last year.
I don't think so.
Yeah, like
Was there an album after Revolution Radio?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because Revolution Radio was what, like 5 years ago?
2016, 2017.
Yeah.
So yeah, like 5 or 6.
Okay.
But yeah, like Revolution Radio, amazing album.
Yeah.
The one after that, like Mother of All, let's say, I forget exactly what it was called. Actually, like a bad record. Like, like I listened to the whole thing. Like, there was like one or two songs that were fine, but like for the most part, like it was a bad album. And like that is the newest song on there. Otherwise, it's like American Idiot, Boulevard of Broken Dreams, Minority, Father of All, and there's one other one which I'm drawing a blank on the name of.
Yeah.
And it's like the American Idiot song, like this from American Idiot are good. Minority's fine, but like that's not a great selection. Like, even Imagine, like, there's like an Imagine Dragons pack. Out of the artists that I knew and could like recognize songs for, which to be fair, I don't know a whole lot about pop music. So, or like R&B or hip hop or dance or any of that stuff. The artist that seemed to have the most songs that I knew, that were like radio hits was Lady Gaga. Like, I looked at her track listings and she had like 6 songs that like, I'm like, I recognize that song. They used to play that on the radio a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, that's the only real downside to it is like the available songs just aren't great, but it's still fun to play. Even the like unlicensed stuff is still fun to play.
Yeah, like that's until you get good enough to play like some of the other shit, you're probably just gonna be better off doing the unlicensed stuff. Oh, they got Sandstorm.
Yeah,
like, come on now.
There are a handful of like one-off like techno-y tracks like Sandstorm.
Dead Mount 5, Ghost and Stuff. That's a good one.
I have no idea. I don't know any of their songs.
Ghost and Stuff is a good one.
Like, I don't listen to that. I don't listen to Wub Wubs. So, like, I don't know any of it.
Alone. I feel like I know Alone from Marshmallow. I think that's good.
How
Centuries
much?
From Fall Out Boy. Dance Dance from Fall Out Boy.
But that's it. There's one fucking good Fall Out Boy song. All the rest are from, like, their later albums that sucked.
Centuries is a good song.
Anything after From Under the Cork Tree is not good.
Let's see.
I
The Scene is
mostly
Seen.
agree.
It's an arms race. Thanks for the memories.
Those
Immortals,
songs are
like,
fine.
Those
but,
songs
like,
are worse than the worst song on From Under the Cork Tree.
Dude, The Scene is Seen is fantastic. Come on now.
It's worse than the worst song on From Under the Cork Tree.
Yeah, like
From Under the Cork Tree is a banger. Every single fucking song on that album is so good.
Yeah, like that is peak pop punk. Like mid 2000s pop punk at least. And like they went in a different direction after that album, and like I can't blame them. Like it's not it's not so much that they're bad songs. I just don't like most of them.
Billie Eilish, Bad Guy. Come on now.
I don't dislike those later Fall Out Boy songs. They're just not as good.
And so I don't know that I've ever heard a Billie Eilish song to know what any of them sound like.
You've probably heard Bad Guy.
Yeah.
Well, in fact, did you get to Hella Megatour in time for the Interrupters?
Yes, but not their whole set.
They cover that.
Then you heard Bad Guy, because I'm pretty sure that was their last song.
Okay.
Yeah, they cover that.
Yeah, like, that was like, I saw, like, the only time I've ever actually, like, actively heard her sing was, I saw the video of her doing Misery Business with Hayley Williams at Coachella.
Party Rock Anthem? Come on now.
What is that?
BTS! They got all the BTS. Come on now.
Well, I don't know what Party Rock Anthem is.
Yes, you do.
If you heard it, you would know it.
From LMFAO?
Can you sing it for a sec?
It goes... I can't right now, no. 'Cause I actually can't remember, like... All I remember is him going, Party Rock! But that's it. Like, I can't actually remember... It was the commercial with the dancing hamsters.
I'm drawing a blank.
You know Party Rock.
I probably...
Rolling by Limp Bizkit is on there.
There you go.
Boy.
There you go. Let's see. What I've Done from Linkin Park. Somewhere I Belong from Linkin Park.
Linkin
One
Park
Step
actually had a
Closer
handful.
from Linkin Park.
Linkin Park's was one of the other ones that actually has like a handful of actually pretty good picks.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm really liking their picks from Linkin Park. There's maybe one or two songs that like. I mean, I'm not really big into Paper Cut, but like for the most part, I think all of the Linkin Park songs are great picks.
Yeah, like most of those were actually pretty good. I don't know that I've ever heard a BTS song. Like, I know they're Korean, so I wouldn't understand the words. I just don't know what any of them sound like.
But they got Panic at the Disco, The Greatest Show. Come on now.
I don't know that song.
They have like none of the good Panic at the Disco songs.
So I think that is new, because I did not see that on there the other day, but it was on there today. And I looked at it, and I'm like, I don't know any of these songs. And it's not that I know a ton of Panic at the Disco. But
I mean, I really like High Hopes, so I'll take back that they have none of the good Panic at the Disco songs, but like, I mean, there's no Night in the Afternoon, there's no fucking, whatever the fucking name of their first song that got big. That
I Write Sins, Not Tragedies?
Yes, there we go.
Yeah, that song only has about 6 words in it, but it is so fucking catchy.
There's no Vegas Nights.
How
much are the song packs?
They range. It depends how many songs.
$2.
The song packs themselves range from like $10 to like $15. It seems though. It depends like how many songs are in there, and it seems like they go on sale.
Okay, can you buy the songs individually?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're each like $2.
And like it's the full song. The only downside is they are like the radio edits. So if there's like cursing in it, it just beeps it out, which like isn't a huge deal. But like it is one of those things. It's like, man, I'm paying $2 for this. There shouldn't be ample cursing.
Rock Band was always that way, so I can't hate on it too much.
That's true, but you're singing along to Rock Band, so you're putting those curses in there yourself.
Fair.
It's like you're the Dan Band singing at a wedding. You're just adding fucking F-bombs to everything.
The Dan Band? But anyway.
Do you not know who the Dan Band is, Rich?
No.
Have you ever seen Old School?
Yes.
They're the wedding band in Old School that sing, it's not called Turn Around, but I can't think of the name of the song, Turn Around.
Yeah.
But he like drops a bunch of F-bombs in it. It's great.
Okay.
They actually do they were in a bunch of Vince Vaughn, like, adjacent comedies. And like they would always, they're in the first Hangover. I saw it when that was on like a week ago. And they always sing like these like 70s, 80s like pop ballads, but like with like this like kind of edgy twist to them. It's very stupid, but like very catchy. And like, it's one of those like the curses are in just the right spots. Cause it's not every time. It's just sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Quest 2 is actually really cool. I get motion sick after a few minutes. So like I was trying to play today. I played for like 15 minutes and like was like legitimately sick afterwards. Like I had to like sit down and close my eyes for like half an hour.
Lame.
I get motion sick trying to read in the car too. So
I get But if I'm in a car and I'm trying to read something for too long, I also get motion sick. But VR doesn't affect me.
It's only some VR. It's anything. It's like movement. Like, so Thumper used to do it to me in PSVR, and like Beat Saber does it too. Like where things are like flying at you. Seated VR or some of the stuff where you're just kind of, most of the PSVR stuff I was okay with because it was a lot of like seated or just standing in place, and like you're doing like the teleporting to move around and stuff. But yeah. Moving on from that, Rich, you finished Pokémon Legends Arceus.
Yeah.
We talked about it a whole bunch, but like, what did you think of the end?
I hated the ending.
Which ending?
I'm not even going after fighting Volo. Fuck that. I'm not even getting the rest of the Pokedex. I'm not doing that. Because the whole end sequence of the game was just garbage. From the time, like, so it was weak. It was very weak. It made zero sense. And it just kind of, my biggest problem with it is similar to my problem with Sword and Shield at the very end of the main storyline, when just like the villain comes out of nowhere. Like the entire time, you're just going and exploring and dealing with these frenzies. And then it's like, oh, the commander is a fucking dick. And he's the villain now, basically. Just out of nowhere. It's like, oh, I trust you, you're this random 15-year-old that fell from the sky, and I trust you with my life. Oh, all this started because of you, I think. So you now need to go figure it out, but until you figure it out, you're banished, because I don't trust you. Which that also doesn't make sense. I don't trust you, so you're banished, but also, you have to go figure this out and stop it. Because if you don't trust somebody, you're gonna make them go stop the thing you think they caused.
That wasn't the end, though, and the commander wasn't the villain.
No, that was the end. That was the start of the end. And then it gets into, you have to go to the, you find, the lady in the tent, and then you have to go see the lake spirits, and then you have to go, find that ore, and then they put together the chain, and then you go and you capture whichever Pokemon you capture based on who you chose, whichever team you chose, and then you have to go, no, I got it all mixed up. Yeah, you get the chain first with the lake spirits, then you go capture the Pokemon that you chose based on the team, and then you have to go find the ore, and then you go and you have a fucking frenzy sequence against whatever the opposite Pokemon was that you didn't choose, which was the other stupid fucking thing about it. The final boss of the game, before credits roll, is a fucking frenzy combat sequence.
And so that's not the end of the game either.
No, that is, credits roll there. That is the end. Everything else is post-game. Because everything else, you have to catch all the Pokemon. You have to finish the Pokedex in order to go and fight Volo and find out that he was the true villain the whole time or whatever. And you fight the two versions of Giratina plus Volo's full team.
Yeah, and that is actually, like, that is the, in my opinion, like, I don't care if credits roll. Like, games have credits roll before the end all the time. That is the end of the game, and that was a way better ending than these games usually have.
Then don't make the credits roll when they roll.
Games do that all the time, though. You can't consider credits the end of the game.
If I disagree. If the credits roll, that's the end of the game. Everything else is post game. Yes, there might be additional content and there might be more story content, but and this was again my problem with Sword and Shield. All the Swordbert and Shieldbert shit that came in after the credits rolled, after you beat the game, there was still more story. Then you didn't beat the game. So why did you roll the credits?
Because
when I go see a Marvel movie, yes, there's those post-credit scene, but if I don't see those, I'm not missing anything. The credits roll, it's over. You're not missing anything.
You're missing the setup for the next movie.
Okay, great.
But also,
I don't need
movies,
it.
Movies and games are not the same thing.
I'm just saying, like, it's telling a story, and the end of the story is when the credits roll.
And to be clear, I agree that Sword and Shield did it bad. This one did it good because it wasn't just oh yeah, here are two characters that were never mentioned before showing up. This is, this guy who's just been showing up and being sort of like weirdly helpful is actually super shitty.
Yeah, and like I didn't do any of that stuff because I don't care. Like,
honestly, the Giratina stuff, like the fight against him and Giratina, is the best fight in the game.
But I'm hearing it's honestly the worst, because it's not only is he the first Pokemon Master or Pokemon Trainer you have to fight who has 6 Pokemon, but you also don't get a chance to heal between fighting him and fighting both versions of Giratina, which means you're actually fighting 8 Pokemon in one battle with your 6, and if you fail, you cannot skip the dialogue. The dialogue always happens.
So, yes, that part is dumb, but when was the last time a Pokemon game had a challenge?
True. They walk you through this, but in order for me to get this, I need to find all the shades. I need to complete the Pokédex, which completing the Pokédex isn't just catching every Pokemon. It's catching every Pokemon and seeing them do all moves. It's all the little tabs that you gotta do.
No, it's not.
You need to complete the Pokédex to do this.
No, you just have to catch all of them.
They said complete the Pokédex to find out what's next.
I did not do everything for every Pokemon. And I 100%ed, let's call it the story.
So then there's another flaw. They're misguiding you.
I mean, you call it a flaw, and honestly, are you sure you have to get all the Pokemon to do that?
Yes.
All the Pokemon, I had to get all the Pokemon to unlock Arceus, not to unlock that bit. They don't push you anywhere except to catch all Pokemon. There was maybe dialogue that I could have gone into, or not maybe, there was dialogue that I could have gone to, after the credits rolled, but I didn't care. The thing I liked about the game was the battle system and the capturing Pokemon and exploration. But the last 4 hours of the game had none of that. And then the final boss, the boss before the credits rolled, so to me, the final boss wasn't even a fucking combat. It was a fucking frenzy that you had to throw food at the enemy, which is the dumbest bullshit in the world. I hated those. I hated them so much. And it's you didn't even, at least in other frenzies, when you got them down to a certain point, you'd be able to throw your Pokemon out and battle them to try to help you and knock them out. You didn't even get this against Palkia or Dialga, depending on who you chose. You just had to throw fucking food at them, which isn't a fun thing. It was not fun. I mean, yeah, like the frenzy things were not fun. I understand what they were trying to give you a different mechanic, but it looks like if when you turn the game back on, you end up in Jubilife City or Jubilife Village again. Mm-hmm, Volo offers to help you find the remaining plates, and then when you find the remaining plates, he takes them and you follow him to the Temple of Sinnoh again, where he tries to summon Giratina.
Yeah.
You don't have to complete the Pokedex for that. It's after that, you literally get a message from God on your cell phone that you have that still works in turn of the century or whenever this is supposed to be, telling you to complete your quest or whatever. And that's where you just have to catch one of every Pokemon, and then you can go play the Azure Flute at Sinnoh just like you would in Diamond and Pearl. And that's when you battle Arceus, and you get to, if you beat him, you get a piece of him that is a Pokemon you can use.
A piece of Arceus that's a Pokemon use? So it's...
Yeah, so I think it was their way of so rather than this kid literally capturing the god of Pokemon, Arceus is here. He's basically giving him Jesus. He's here's a piece of me. Take him with you, my child.
What is that Pokemon?
It's Arceus.
Oh, that's stupid.
Yeah, it looks like Arceus. It is Arceus as far as the Pokedex is concerned, but it is stated to be a piece of him, a section of his soul or something weird like that.
Yeah. So my biggest problem with this game and why I'm not pushed to catch all the Pokemon and finish it up, do whatever else is after the credits, is mostly because this game has no competitive capabilities. You can't battle people, you can't battle your friends, you can trade, and that's it. I can't battle people, that's kind of more the point of Pokemon, is to catching the Pokemon, making a team, and battling your friends. And I don't get to do that. So,
that is a valid criticism.
Yeah.
Once I found that out, I did start to lose interest in the game, but I still had fun playing the game, but it was it kept going, and then that whole end sequence, I was hoping to have had beaten it on Thursday, but it got so late, and I'm like, I know I'm really close to the end, and that whole end sequence took another 3 hours. And it was just like, it was boring, it was slow, it was just, go here, and it did the same thing the whole game did, where you go to a place, you do the thing, and then you go back to where you were to talk to somebody, to then go to another place and do the thing, and then go back to where you were. You couldn't do it all at once and then talk to that person all at once. No, it was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, which just is not, that's not good design.
No, and that is another completely valid criticism. Like, Pokemon games always make you do that, and it's a very dated, like, game design.
Yeah,
And
but it's much worse in this one because Pokemon games have a better way of travel or better mode of travel, whereas this one...
Oh yeah, the hub thing in this
Like-
game was actually incredibly frustrating.
Yeah, it's you load back to a hub. It's not like you go back to the town you were just in. It's you load back to a hub, and then you have to load back out. And then it's also, if you're trying to just explore and catch Pokemon, which is the other reason I have zero interest in catching all the Pokemon, you have to go to the region, catch the Pokemon, go back to the hub, then go back out to the region. And it's like, if I miss out on a Pokemon, or if like a Pokemon escapes or whatever, then I have to leave out and then come back instead of going to a different region to check that until I can get back to where that Pokemon was or something. It's just, like the whole design of the overworld is just poor. Like, when we first played this game, we were talking high about it, and it's like we had to nitpick to find problems. But once you get further and further in, you realize that the nitpicks that we were having problems with, like the flashing back and forth, are more of a bigger issue than we made it seem, and that, like, the gameplay as a whole was fun, but some of the new gimmicks that they introduced were just bad. And
Yeah, like, the travel didn't
especially
bother
later
me
on.
that much. It was annoying, and it was dumb to do it like that when
Mhm.
in other generations you could just fly from place to place.
Yeah.
But like, it didn't hamper my experience, but I also played it consecutively from start to finish, where like you took a several month break from the game, and I
Yeah.
feel like that was enough time for you to cool down on it drastically, whether you realize it or not.
Yeah, I mean, probably. If I had stuck with it and played it at least once a week or even multiple times a week when it first came out, maybe I would have enjoyed it a little bit more. But I mean, who's to say at this point? It's been months, and I can't go back in time and play it for the first time again.
Yeah, like it came out in January, and you finished it at the middle of July.
Yeah. And that's like, there was so much that came out back to back to back that were all open, and maybe I should have held off on getting some rather than others. But that might have been a poor choice, but it was the choice I made based on how I play games pretty much nowadays. But it's just like, overall, like, again, the gameplay, the combat features, the open area, not the open world, the open area, and the Pokemon walking around, and honestly, the fact that you don't have to battle to catch them, that you can just catch them, and like the strategy of doing that stuff, that's all fun. I enjoyed that. The battle system also was good, with the exception of the fact that if you did any trainer battles, they always got at least one attack first, and there was always at least 2 to 3 Pokemon on the field when you first start some of these trainer battles, to where they actually get like 3 attacks before you get one, and that's a big fucking pain in the ass, because all the time my first Pokemon dies immediately. And then, if you knock out the trainer's Pokemon, and they throw out a new one, that next new one also gets first attack.
I don't think I ever got knocked out until the fight against Volo.
Not knocked out as in your character getting knocked out. Knocked out as in, like, your first Pokemon gets taken down.
Yeah, like, I never had that happen.
Every time I fought a trainer, my first Pokemon got taken out right away. First hit.
Don't you also, like, swap your team in and out and, like, make, like, weird combinations as you play?
I was swapping teams in and out and things like that, but I wasn't, my top Pokemon wasn't my weakest. My top Pokemon would be, like, one of the others. But, like, even then, like, it wouldn't be like my Decidueye, which was level 62 and way fucking overpowered for that point of the game. It would be, like, something that within the 50s or whatever, within the 40s, whatever was at that point of the game. And one round kills them. And
yeah,
it's
I never had that issue.
This is also kind of a running problem with Pokemon. I've noticed that, like, your stats really don't matter. They made speed matter, but defense doesn't really matter. Because you can't increase your defense high enough to take more than, like, 2 to 3 hits. I've never
defense
had a
only
Pokemon.
matters in competitive play.
But even then it doesn't. Because, like, it's weird. Like, you can only increase your defense so much. Or using, like, a defense up. Here's my problem. Using a defense up ability, you need to use it multiple times and stack it in order to get it to work. Which is why competitive play nowadays is doubles. Because that adds the strategy to it. To do competitive play in Pokemon, they do doubles because you got the one who's tanking or that you can heal using their turn, while the other one's using the defensive abilities to protect themselves. Like the fact that if I use Iron Bark or whatever, just a defensive, like, give me defense skill, and it just lowers the damage I take by like 2 points. And so, alright, maybe I get 3 rounds, but I just wasted a round using the defense instead of attacking the enemy.
Yeah, during like during the gameplay, like, you don't go into those fights strategically, ever. Because, like, you're right, like, none of that stuff matters. That stuff only matters when you're playing, when you're either speedrunning it and, like, the weird, like, defense and attack things are how you sort of, game the system. Because there's a thing in a bunch of Pokemon games where if you're below, like, 75% health, like, basically in the red area, your, like, crit rate goes up or something like that. So, like, you will actually attack harder, and thus you can one-hit opponents more regularly as long as you don't get hit first. But, like, and then competitive play, like, when you're playing against other humans, because other humans are more likely to, like, strategically use, like, those items or effect-based moves versus just hitting you with a tackle. You gotta stop going to Pokemon thinking strategically, man. Like, the only battles, other than the Volo fight, the only fights that got me were the, you know those 3 sisters that were, like, bandits or whatever? They're basically the Team Rocket of the game.
Yeah.
Like, post the Volo fight, they will randomly pop up and challenge you a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the point in the game when I was just trying to complete the Pokedex. So I had a bunch of things in my party that were just straight garbage because I was just trying to get them to evolve. And a lot of it was, like, very low level because I needed to, like, either get them to a level to evolve or get, like, their friendship up so, like, they were the first in my party. And, yeah, I would get, like, ambushed by one of them, and I'd throw out, like, a level 16 Eevee, and they would just fucking roll right over the entire team.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, the first time it happened, I didn't know that was, like, a thing in the post-game. So I think I had my starter that was a high level. Everything else was under level 20, and they were level 60.
Yeah.
Just like, cool, this sucks.
Yeah. And that's, like, there was one point, when I was going up to the Sinnoh Shrine or whatever it was, Temple of Sinnoh, when you fight the fucking, the chef, the ninja dude, who's the chef the whole time. I was so mad at that fight because at one point he got 3 attacks in a fucking row and knocked out at least 1, if not 2 Pokemon.
Man, it sounds like you need to get better speed, man.
I mean, I was also, I honestly, I maybe did this poorly and, didn't want to have to spend time grinding out my Pokemon to level them up, and just went into it with, like, Pokemon between the level of 50 and 65. But, like, that shouldn't be that big of a deal. Like,
I mean, it depends what the actual enemy levels were, and I don't remember at that point.
They were, like, 55s.
Okay.
But it really, if you were anything beyond, like, 3 levels above them, they hit like fucking trucks. Or if they attack 3 times in a row, they're knocking you out. And it's like, I like that, the fact that speed makes sense, and I like that as a strategy of it, but because you don't get to see, you don't know what they're going to come at you with, or you don't get to get that opportunity to strategize, or to think about what Pokemon to throw out beforehand. It's just whatever's on top is what you throw out still. Like, it takes away from the whole, like, it takes away some of it. And it's like, I don't know, it's just, also, when you knock the Pokemon out, they don't give you the option to switch out to a different Pokemon. And so again, for me, I don't want to waste that turn throwing out a Pokemon, because
I actually turn that off in most of the games. Like, I set it to, like, static or whatever, because I don't want to be asked every fucking time.
I would much rather be asked every time if I want to switch out my Pokemon. Because yes, I do. Because I want to switch out to the better strategy, to the better matchup. If I think I know what they're matching me up against, if I think I know what they have, or if they have something that I know I'm better with, I can switch out to that. I want that because I don't want to waste the turn throwing in my next Pokemon out, and then my next Pokemon getting hit with a move that might kill him.
But these aren't Pokemon League rules, man. We're back in the prairie days or whatever the fuck you want to call it. This is street Pokemon fights.
Trust me, I know.
There ain't no rules.
But, like, the game should still have given me the option. It's not league rules or not. I mean, that's not... I doubt that's a league rule. Like, oh, if your Pokemon gets knocked out, you have to give your opponent a chance to... No, that's just game mechanics. They always asked you to switch out your Pokemon.
Yeah, because it's Pokemon League rules, man.
That's game mechanics. It's not a league rule. That wouldn't be a rule.
You
have to give your opponent a chance to
universe. In universe, league rules.
How do you know? Find that rule...
Why else would you do it?
Because it's a game mechanic
you have to learn what immersion is. You have to stop separating game mechanics from in-game lore. If it's a game mechanic, there's a reason it happens.
But see, it's a game mechanic because it gives you the opportunity to strategize better. Rather than because they have it to where if you swap your Pokemon out, your Pokemon's still getting attacked, they give you that chance to strategize after you knock out a Pokemon. Because why would it be a league rule to give the person who just won the fight an advantage by switching out to a different Pokemon?
Because they just won the fight.
But if you're winning, then why would you get the advantage?
Make it, motherfucker.
Like, it should give you the disadvantage. League rules.
Why do you play make it, take it in basketball?
I don't know what that means.
You make the shot, you take the next one.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a stupid game. But I'm also bad at basketball, so I wouldn't play it.
So you've never actually made it and taken it. We get it.
I've never made a single basket from playing. I know that we called it around the world, and you stood on it wasn't the half court line, but it was probably
it was the 3-point line. You start in the top corner and you work your way all the way around.
Yeah, and for every ball you make, you go to the next spot and you throw again until you miss. I've lost a game without even throwing a ball once. Because I had somebody make all of their shots.
That's because it's make it, take it.
That's a bad game.
Well, I mean, you don't play make it, take it if somebody can make every shot from the 3-point line. That's just stupid.
How am I supposed to know?
You ask them. Be like, how good are you at basketball?
And, I mean, even the best three-point thrower can't make every ball. But
no, I mean, you're right.
Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you get lucky. And it's just, that's a bad game. Because I'm better, I'm gonna win first. It's league rules wouldn't force it. Plus, if you've ever watched the Pokemon anime, they never stopped the fight to let Ash switch out his Pokemon. The person would just throw out a Pokemon and Ash would swap out.
Anime and games are totally different universes.
That's the league that we're going off of because we don't know.
No, we're going off the Pokemon League from the games. Pokemon League from the anime is a fucking disaster.
I mean, it is because you can get a badge for being a good person.
Yeah, like the Pokemon League in the anime has 0 rules.
Yeah. I mean, the Pokemon League from the anime, there's also no Elite Four. It's just a championship tournament. At the original Pokemon League championship, Ash lost a tournament, which meant he wasn't Pokemon champion.
Yeah, but he didn't lose in the final round. There was actually an Elite Four. You just never actually got to, see anyone fight them. Lance is introduced in the anime as a member of the Elite Four. Bruno is introduced as a member of the Elite Four.
I don't remember that.
I believe Agatha and Lorelei are as well.
I did not remember that.
Yeah. There's a scene post Ash getting the 8th badge, but pre him going to the league, that he's training in the mountains, and they meet Bruno, who is also training in the mountains. Mm-hmm. And he is introduced as Bruno of the Elite Four.
Okay.
So, yeah. But enough Pokemon. Rich, what did you think of Guardians of the Galaxy?
So far it's pretty solid. It's the first game I've ever played that I've actually, really laughed out loud about. There are just some, good one-liners and good scenes. There seems to be, and I don't know if it's just my graphical settings that maybe it's throwing it off, there seems to be some potential input lag and whatnot in certain things, or just the way I'm trying to do things, it's throwing it off. but like there's an ability where you can scan the enemies where I tend to not be able to scan them right away. It takes a little bit longer for you to be able to scan them, but I don't know if it's either A, because I'm locking on to them before I hit the scan button, or if if it might be because I'm holding onto a button that is not supposed to be being held onto when you're doing that feature.
Yeah, I don't remember if I scanned anybody, so I couldn't tell you how that worked.
Yeah, it's like, because you have to open up your Star-Lord view and then aim at them and scan them. But like when you're in combat, I'm hitting the lock-on button a lot, and so it's like when I have the Star-Lord view on and the lock-on button, and then I'll click the scan, and instead he'll start shooting and stuff. And it's like there are a lot of controls. There are a lot of things to remember about this game.
There really are, and keeping track of like the team attacks, plus Star-Lord's attacks, and I feel like there's a third level of things you can do also.
Oh, there's the team attacks, there's Star-Lord's attacks, there's the elements that you can have set up as Star-Lord.
Yeah, like that at least you unlock those kind of like slowly.
Yeah. And so it's just like there's a lot going on, and there's a lot to think about, and combat is fast-paced and hectic. It's not RPG style, it's like action style. And so it's like you got to just keep going. There is slowdown if you're trying to use different abilities, but like I was having difficulty using the Star-Lord abilities, and that's because you have to hit the button for the team menu and then hit left stick. You have to click in left stick, I think, to go to the Star-Lord menu. And like,
it is something stupid like that.
Either I'll hit it too fast, or I'll hit it too slow, or something like that. Like, I won't hit it on time, and then I'll try to select an ability, but I'll accidentally select Drax or Groot, and then I don't know how to get out of that menu. So I end up just closing the menu entirely, bringing battle all back to normal speed, and then going back into battle again. And it's just, it's very hectic.
Yeah, the Star-Lord stuff isn't very good either.
Yeah, I mean, it's you're a commander simulator. You're there to command the rest of the team. Star-Lord just stands there. Like, if it weren't for being able to command the team, and you were just controlling Star-Lord with everyone else doing their own thing, it would be the most boring game in the world, because Star-Lord's combat sucks.
Yeah, his combat is very generic. It's basically hold the trigger to like auto shoot and run up and melee people. But like surprisingly, like controlling, like, well, and it's controlling is a bad word to put it, but I thought like dispatching like the Guardians to do things actually felt really good, and like it was fun.
Yeah, it's fun to command them in battle. It's fun to actually have them do different puzzly things out on the field. I really like that. Like, it's not just all fighting. There's puzzle stuff. There's RPG stuff. It's all over the place. Like, I was talking with somebody about it, and I can't remember how I think I was like, it's kind of like, I might have said kind of like Telltale-y, and then I explained it to them, and they're like, oh, you maybe more like Mass Effect. I'm like, you know what? Mass Effect would probably be a better equivalent to this. It's very similar to the Mass Effect games.
Yeah, where like you're talking to the not even in the combat, but like just in general, you have those like dialogue options where like the characters will say like, Rocket will remember that. Yeah,
and like there was a lot of those options, a lot of those things that happened only in like the 3 hours I played.
How did you do with like speaking of like the team dialogue, like I don't remember what they're called, but those things where in combat, if like you had like a good sync or whatever they were calling it, you could do that like team huddle, and like if you picked the right option, everyone got like a power up and all their health back, and if you picked the wrong one, I think you still got your health back, but like nothing else.
I only did one of those, and that was the scripted one, because I don't think I played enough to actually have to affect with how many of them, or I'm just that good at commanding them that I wasn't having a problem. But like I only had one of those, and I succeeded in bringing everyone back to life at full health and everyone being like powered up. But there was only one, so I can't really say how well I did with them.
Yeah, like I haven't played the game in a while, but like I had a bunch of them, and like they are often very hard to decipher what exactly they want you to say to like actually succeed.
Yeah.
But yeah. So did you get to Cosmo yet?
No, I just got to. I just put. I decided to sell Rocket, so I just put Rocket in the in the cage and we're walking up to Lady, what's her name?
Okay.
Yeah,
that part is hectic, but
yeah,
the Cosmo bit, really good. Like the part with Cosmo is probably one of the funniest scenes in a game I can think of. Drew, I might just send you the video because I think even you would find it funny.
I've heard the writing and whatnot in this game was very good.
Dude, the writing is so good in this game. I love it. It's so, like, there's so many just, like, sort of one-liners and just quippy things that they say that work so well. And it blows my mind. Yeah,
like, they did a surprisingly good job with all of that. But there's a particular bit when you meet Cosmo, the astronaut dog, that is just so good. And I don't want to spoil it for you, Rich, because you depending on like how often you play that, like it won't be that long before you're there.
No, so yeah, I have changed up my stream schedule for the foreseeable future, mostly to catch up on my backlog, but also like Timmy is having issues with work, so the teamwork stuff, or the teamwork, or Timmy Tuesday, whichever you want to call it, we're going to be taking a break from that for a while, but I just really want to catch up on my backlog of all the games I want to play. So, with the exception, like, I'll be playing Monster Hunter once a week, and I'll be playing whatever game I'm just working through the rest of the time, except for I might occasionally jump out on, like, Sundays to play something else. So, like, for instance, this week, we did Guardians yesterday, we're doing Guardians on Thursday, and then we're doing Omno on Sunday, and that's mostly because Omno is coming off of Game Pass soon, so I want to get that done before it comes off again.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, and then, like, we might do, like, maybe just indie short games that can be beat in one go, like Omno, on Sundays, just to have, like, more of a chill streams on Sundays, but we'll also play games like Guardians and whatnot. But it's also, the weekend streams are kind of in flux right now. Might be doing them on Saturdays, might be doing them on Sundays, depending on time, because it's the summer. But yeah, it's like, I'm planning on getting through this game. I think How Long to Beat says it's about 20 to 25 hours or something like that. I think it's like 15 to 20 hours, based on completion and everything. So I'm planning on beating this game within the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, it looks like completionist is 25 and a half.
Yeah. And, like, who knows how far I'll get into doing the completionist stuff or not. Like, I don't even know how big the scope of this game gets. I'm just 3 hours, 3.5, 4 hours in right now. So, I do explore and try to get everything I can, but it's really fun. I do have, a little bone to pick with Square. And it's the fact that, obviously, I'm streaming this game. And one reason why I was hesitant to stream this game is because I know the music selection is fantastic.
Oh, right. I didn't even think about that.
But I can't really do the licensed music. Like, I probably could, and all that would happen is my VODs would get muted, but the entire VOD would get muted. Me, anything I'm saying, as well as the game itself. They can't separate the two. So they do have a mode to where you can turn off the licensed music as a streamer mode. 2 problems with that. Problem number 1, at the top of your screen, it says streamer mode on the entire time you're fucking playing the game.
Oh, that's really annoying.
Yeah.
But it's like, and it's not like big white or black letters. It's like, it's faded in. So like you eventually, like you don't notice it, and you won't see, if you were to watch my stream, you won't see it because I have the goals, the monthly goals for like followers and subscribers and shit like that.
That's still really annoying.
It's annoying. But it's also, here's the other problem. There is a band called Star-Lord the Band.
Yeah, that they made for the game.
It is music they made for the game, specifically for this game, that they do not play in place of the licensed music at those points. So in the scene at the very beginning, when you're escaping from like when you're in the ship in the Milano flying away, and you're controlling the Milano. I don't know if you remember this, Kyle. But at one point, he says, somebody put music, and Drax yells, well, somebody put some music on for this guy. For me, it was silent music-wise. There was no music, there was no background music, there was no, like, tenseness. There was no Star-Lord the Band playing, because that was a moment with the scripted music of one of the other licensed songs that they weren't playing, because I turned those off.
That really sucks.
And, like, I don't know programming. I do know a little programming. I actually used to do programming. Like, I started going to college for programming. Me and Drew did programming in high school. I don't think it's going to be that hard to switch a playlist. If button is turned on, play this song instead type of thing. For a band that you specifically created, and an album, a 10-song album, which is fucking amazing, by the way. Go check it out. It's on Spotify, and it's on YouTube, and it's on everything. Listen to it. It's really fucking good. How hard would it have been just to be like, oh, if streamer mode is on, play this song instead?
Now, at the beginning of the game, like, when you're in, like, the bedroom, and you have, like, the cassette, are you able to play that in streamer mode?
It was Star-Lord the band that was playing on my headphones.
So they do play it, like, in... Okay. I wasn't sure if maybe for some reason that wasn't actually, like, included in the streamer mode, if that makes sense.
I mean, seemingly Star-Lord, as far as I can tell, Star-Lord the band, or whatever it's called, is not licensed, or, like, at least is, like, a Square-owned thing and not a licensed thing that a streamer has to worry about. I haven't gotten any notifications on whether or not I got muted yesterday. I could probably check right now while we talk about it. But I mean, I doubt I got muted yesterday from any of that. But it's just like, it kind of blows my mind that, like, okay, you make this song. Yeah, I don't have anything marking that I got muted at all from yesterday's stream. But, like...
Yeah, that is such a weird decision.
Yeah, because, like, it's not even... And I think this is probably why, like, it's not that they gave you the option to turn on streamer mode. It's they give you the option to turn off licensed music. And I think that's probably the difference. But like, when you have the licensed music off, it says streamer mode on. But, like, I don't know. I think it's just... and again, it's a very niche problem. It's a problem for, like, specifically me or other streamers. But it's just, like, it's still, like, I don't want to run the risk of potentially losing ad revenue or whatever playing this game. I don't want to run the risk of, like, getting an actual copyright ding. So I'm unfortunately going to miss out on one of the better parts of this game, which is the music selection. But you created an entire album that I also don't get to hear?
What about when you can, like, just pick your own music in, like, the ship and all?
I haven't checked to see if Star-Lord the band was on there yet, but I did see that it was on there. I did see that there was a spot to do that.
Yeah, like, in, like, the common area of the ship, you can go and, like, choose what track to play, and it plays throughout the whole ship. And I remember, like, all of the Star-Lord music was on there, and then, like, all of the other licenses.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that is dumb, but it is an otherwise, like, actually very charming game, and, like, surprisingly well done.
Yeah, like, like, the complaints I have are, like, again, the music complaint is minor. It's frustrating to me, but it's minor. It's not a major complaint. And, like, again, I might mess around with graphical settings to see if maybe the input lag, input issues are just how my graphics settings are, and not, like, the actual game. But I am enjoying the game, and I hope it stays as good as it started.
Yeah, and, like, I'm probably double the length of you, maybe a little bit more. And, like, enjoyed it the whole time. I just kind of, like, got distracted by other stuff, basically, and haven't gone back to it, but I enjoyed a whole bunch of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, hopefully you continue to as well.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Oh, so I started checking out that game Escape Academy.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys heard of this?
I've heard of it.
It's actually pretty cool. It's a video game of escape rooms.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, some of them are actually, like, they're legit hard, and, like, they're all timed. So, like, you might have anywhere from 5 minutes to 30 minutes to, like, figure out, like, the various, like, obstacles and things. And it's shaped around you are literally going to a school to learn, like, escapism.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I think that would be the right word for that. So, like, you know, you have classes where, like, one of the first classes you do is you have to find the teacher's, like, spray paint cans so that you can tag a mural. Like, literally, the teacher tells you, figure out how to find the locked up paint cans that I hid so that you can, like, write your name and spray paint on this, like, mural. And, like, that's the mission. You have 30 minutes to figure it out.
Okay.
And, like, that one took me a while. Like, I finished it at, like, 26 minutes. But then the one after that is, like, it's actually a death trap. Like, the room is filling with water as you're trying to, like, solve these puzzles.
That's great.
Yeah. And I finished, like, that one is, like, each floor of that one, you get, like, 5 or so minutes. And, like, I was finishing all of those fairly quickly because it was a little more straightforward. Up until the last one when it's like a letter matching key sort of thing. I think it was the last one. It was either the last one or the second to last one. They give you the whole alphabet, with, like, the first half on the top row and the second half on the bottom row, and arrows going between them. So, like, A equals N, B equals M, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And you'll get, like, a word that's just jumbled letters, and you have to go through and, like, look at this key and, like, figure out what the letters are actually supposed to be. And while it's not hard, it's just time consuming. And when you're on a time limit, you're, like, rushing, like, all right, what is Q? Where is Q? But it was fun. It definitely seemed like a game that, like, I don't think it would necessarily be fun to play online, which I think it has online multiplayer. It would probably be, like, a good game for, like, couch co-op, because you can, like, almost like doing it like a real escape room. Like, you can sit there with, like, a couple of people and try and decipher, like, the clues and stuff like that while one person kind of, like, moves to the area to, like, try different things out.
Yeah. There is, according to Steam, there is co-op, online co-op. But, like,
I thought I saw that.
You could just do that same thing on Discord.
Yeah, but, like, that doesn't sound fun.
It's the same thing.
No, like, you do it sitting with people.
But you're sitting with somebody online. And then
Yeah,
both of you are controlling a character and looking around and finding clues. And then when you can piece it together, you can help each other out.
I don't know. That just doesn't sound as much fun. Because then you would literally be, like, able to, like, not game it, but, like, you'd be able to do it in, like, half the time, which I realize is kind of the point. But I feel like if all of you have to work on the same thing, it's just, it adds, like, a layer of, like, urgency to it.
So have you ever been to an escape room by yourself? Like,
I've never been to an escape room, period.
So that's the thing about an escape room. You all try to figure different things out. You divide and conquer. So, like, you look around, you try to see what you each can find, you try to put together clues. Usually, depending on how many people you go with, usually, like, 1 or 2 people become, like, sort of ringmasters and try to, like, collect things and see what everyone else is finding, and you try to look around all separately. If you're all looking at the same thing, you're all going to see the same thing, but if you're all working together and looking around at different things and checking different bookshelves and whatnot, you're all, oh wait, maybe this will work, or maybe that'll work. Or, like, one person's reading a book while you're trying to test the puzzles out outside of the book. That's the point of an escape room.
I don't know. I think my method sounds like more fun.
I mean, I don't think I'm not saying your method doesn't sound fun. I'm just saying it would be better to everyone have control of their own character.
It's potato.
No, it's all potato.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I don't think that, like, that honestly does not sound fun to me, like, sitting on Discord with people playing it.
I mean, it is a level of it is a different kind of thing, for sure. But, like, having multiple people controlling a character is really, I feel like, what you would need. And maybe if there's more people playing, maybe you have less time, or maybe the puzzles are harder or something.
Yeah, I don't know if, like, if anything does change up if you do have, like, multiple people in the game. I would hope it does, because, yeah, if you're adding more people, like, the puzzles would inherently get easier, because it's usually, like, multiple puzzles per, like, area.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, if you have 2 or 3 or 4 people all doing different puzzles, like, that 20-minute thing may only take you 5 minutes.
But, I mean, that's an escape room.
Yeah. No, I know that. I was just saying, like, for, like, a video game, like, it just makes it, like, it's finite, and I don't know. Like, I understand that's the point of, like, a real escape room, but I feel like real escape rooms are also a little more challenging, most likely, than these have been so far.
I mean, yeah, some of them are, like, the real escape rooms are bigger and probably have more in them. But, like, this game, it's also, you're paying, for a real escape room, you're paying $50 a person or something. I don't know how much escape room is right now. I haven't been to one in 2.5 years. But, like, you're paying $50 a person to go in this room for an hour that you're locked in and try to figure out how to get out. Whereas with this game, it's like, oh, we can keep updating and add new rooms. Whereas an escape room, it's like, it's one and done. Like, you do it once, you know the solves. You can't really do this one again.
And on top of that, like, for like a game like this, not everything is interactable. And it's pretty obvious when something is meant as part of the puzzle versus when it's just like a thing you can click on and get like a little like, this is an empty frame. versus like a real escape room where like realistically anything in that room could be like a clue or something. No matter how just normal it looks.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the game, at one point you're like your acceptance mission, like you basically have to prove that you can actually do this stuff. Is you have to figure out the headmistress's full name, first, middle, and last name, and you're locked in their office while there is gas pumping into the room. And if you don't figure it out in 15 minutes, the in-story thing is you're going to black out and it's going to erase your memories. You're not going to remember that this school exists.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's basically Hogwarts for learning how to escape from shit.
Yeah.
And as you're doing things, like, it's very much there are 5 plants. If you click on those plants, you just keep saying the same thing over of, it's another plant. These must take an awful long time to water. But the thing that actually like clues you in that the plants are anything is you find a receipt that literally says there were 5 plants purchased at the same time. It's like, okay, so 5 means something. And then you find like a symbol that's a plant and you realize, oh, so the plant is 5, so that's the number for the lock, sort of thing.
That's how an escape room works.
No, I know that, but in this case, like, there are 5 plants you can interact with, and then a bunch of other plants you can't. Whereas in a real escape room, anything in that room you can interact with.
Yeah, but there's also things in those rooms that you can't. Like, that are, like, glued down, and they say if you can't lift it with minor, like, just a normal picking up motion, it's made to not be picked up with or interact with.
Oh, do they really glue stuff down in them?
Yeah, because otherwise people would be picking up everything.
So I knew certain things were like nailed to the walls and stuff like that. I didn't think they would glue anything down. I thought like everything was potentially...
There are things that are not made to be messed with. There are things that are just scenery. There are things like... The best example is if you've ever seen the episode of The Big Bang Theory when they were in there. Like, I think they straight up say, like, if there's something that you have to try to force to pick up, you're not supposed to pick it up. Or there might be a different show that I watched that had an escape room. But, like, you don't force things up. Like, if you can't pick it up, it's not meant to be picked up. It's not, like... That's, like, a lot of people, my first thing when I go into an escape room is to touch everything and see what can be moved.
So you're patient 0 for COVID?
No, because... No, I'm not, because, like, that's an escape room that they're supposed to clean out between each one, which they probably won't, but I, again, haven't been to an escape room.
You just walk around licking doorknobs, touching things?
Not every room is an escape room. It's just my house that's the hardest thing to get out of, okay? But this game reminds me, I don't know if either of you played it. It was a Flash game back in the day, so I mostly played it in high school.
It actually looks a little bit like a Flash game.
Yeah. The game I'm talking about is called 100 Floors. It was a Flash game. It was all just a browser game, and it was like you're on an elevator and you have to solve how to get the elevator to go up to each floor. And like I literally just looked it up, and they turned it into a cell phone game. And I'm like, oh, I remember this game. It was so great. I've
never heard of that before, but it does sound similar. Where this game it is obviously like it's higher quality than a Flash game, but it has kind of that Flash game aesthetic just because it's all the 2D like visual novel style storytelling.
Yeah.
It's fun though. I want to say I did like 4 or 5 of the escapes, and every one of them was a little bit different. Like each one was like a totally different setup, but they all had different like things to try and figure out. It wasn't just all the same. Mm-hmm. The hardest one for me by far was in the first class one, which is the art one. There's a statue, and you're supposed to figure out like which of like the pictures to make the statue look like, and none of the pictures really looked like the statue. Like the eyes didn't look right, if that makes sense. So like I couldn't tell what the eyes were supposed to look like based on the one that I knew was the right picture. So it was a lot of just turning it a bunch and then like hitting the button over and over again until like the eyes lined up right.
Yeah.
Cause like I could tell the mouth, I could tell the eyebrows, but every picture, the eyes did not look like any of the settings for the eyes on the actual statue. But otherwise, like they're all like doable as long as like you figure things out in the right order. Cause like that was the biggest problem is like I found like the nose for that statue and thought that was the end of that side of the puzzle. Went over, did all these other puzzles that unlocked the gate to get to what like the finish line. but I didn't realize there was a whole other section in the other building that I had to finish to get the paint to be able to tag the thing. So it was like, oh shit, I have to run all the way back to the other side of this thing now to like figure out like these last two puzzles.
Yeah, there are some escape rooms that are very similar to that too, where it's like it's multiple rooms and shit. Those ones are really fun.
Yeah, like, and this one has been cool so far. It's on Game Pass too, so
nice.
It's worth checking out. So San Diego Comic-Con happened.
It sure did.
There's a lot at San Diego Comic-Con. But
like, not everything was all that interesting.
I mean, it's San Diego Comic-Con, so like there's a lot going on, but it's also it's a Comic-Con, so there's always going to be things that people don't care about, and then there's going to be things that people really do care about.
Like, how about more Walking Dead spinoffs?
Just delete that one. Like, we're done. We're done with that comment.
Come on, like, they announced 2 more spinoffs.
Does your wife still watch it?
No, she never finished the. I know the final season is still on.
Yeah.
I don't think she ever started the final season, and I don't think she ever bothered with the last season of Fear the Walking Dead or the second season of That World Beyond. So
she was more of a diehard fan than I was.
Yeah.
And if she doesn't watch it anymore, no one watches it. Like, just it's done. It's done. Fuck Walking Dead. Like, the show was over when Rick left.
But he's coming back. Like, that's one of the spinoffs. It's Rick and Michonne.
Suck my dick. I don't care. Like, seriously. It makes me mad. Like, it makes me so mad. We don't need any more Walking Dead. I love zombies. Give me all the zombies. I'm tired of fucking zombies. Like, I haven't watched the new Resident Evil shit. The only real zombie game I care playing right now is friggin' 7 Days to Die. And it's just like, I'm done. I'm done with Walking Dead. I want to finish the comics and that's it, because I never did that. But like, I don't need Walking Dead AMC TV show anymore.
So I was just curious. I looked up the ratings. So the current season does not have anything out yet. Mm-hmm. At least not like the end of it. But it's apparently the season premiere had 2 million views versus at the peak, which let's say was season 5 according to this. Season 5 opened with 17 million viewers.
Yeah.
Damn.
Like, it has been on a steady decline since season 7.
I get notifications or not notifications. I get ads on like Facebook for the new Walking Dead, one of the new Walking Deads, and apparently Yvette Nicole Brown is now the spokesperson for Walking Dead.
Yeah, I mean I feel like she has been for a while.
Ever since Hardwick had all his issues, I'm sure.
No, I mean he's back. He's been doing Talking Dead again.
I didn't even know they still had that show.
Yeah.
How does a show that barely pulls 2 million views have a fucking after show? And who watches it?
Look, these are wonderful questions. I'm trying to think of like other shows that are like on just I guess Better Call Saul. Let's look at Better Call Saul.
Is that still going?
The final season is airing right now. That they had a long break between some of their seasons. Like it went 2018 was season 4, 2020 was season 5, and then season 6 it did the typical AMC split season. Mm-hmm. But not as bad as they usually do.
Like they're doing with The Walking Dead.
Yeah, like the first half of season 6 aired from like February to April, and then the second half is airing like now till I don't know the end of August. But let's look. Nope, that's not ratings. There's ratings. So The Walking Dead right now. So Better Call Saul is probably one of the best shows on television. Mm-hmm. It is arguably better than Breaking Bad.
Okay.
And does not have ratings as high as Walking Dead currently is getting. The season 6 A and B both just barely broke 1 million viewers, whereas Walking Dead has never done less than 2 million, and that was this season. Every season before that, they were more like 5 million for the season opener.
Yeah.
So like they still fucking they get more viewers still than like your average cable drama. So like they're gonna just keep pushing spin-offs and fucking after shows until literally no one is watching.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was wild. So there's Fear the Walking Dead is still going. I'm pretty sure that World Beyond is still going. They have the show that is now just a Daryl spinoff because Melissa McBride backed out of it. They have this other one that they announced at Comic-Con, and then a fifth one that is Rick and Michonne.
Let me tell you, if anything in my life I've ever needed so much was a fucking Daryl spin-off of the Daryl Show.
Maybe he'll actually do stuff in this one, though. Like, maybe he'll have some dialogue.
But he killed a tank!
He did, but he didn't talk. He is a video game protagonist.
I mean, I love Norman Reedus. I don't need Daryl. I'm so over the Walking Dead AMC. It makes me mad because I do want to finish the series. When it comes all on Netflix, maybe I'll get around to finishing it. But I'm fucking 4 seasons behind.
I might even be more than that. Did you watch it all post Rick, quote unquote, dying?
Rick's last episode, maybe 2 episodes after Rick's last episode was my last episode.
So I watched a little bit past, I watched into the time skip a little bit.
Yeah. I watched the introduction of the Whisperers, but that's it.
Yeah, and I saw a little bit because if Erica had it on while I was still awake. But yeah, it's been at least 2 or 3 years. I don't know that I've watched it since the pandemic.
Yeah. And Fear the Walking Dead, I thought was garbage. I never finished the first season.
Yeah, I thought, from the little bit I saw of it, again, if Erica was watching it while I was still awake, it got a little more interesting as it went on, but it also actually just became The Walking Dead Part 2.
Yeah.
It's one of those where the characters got slightly more interesting as things went on, but the story was just Walking Dead on the West Coast instead.
Yeah, because the problem with the Fear the Walking Dead was it was initially billed as the beginning of the apocalypse. It was supposed to be the start of the zombies and everything.
And it was for a season.
the season 2, they had a 5-year time jump or some shit like that.
It was a little more than that. It was season 3, they actually just caught up to The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Because season 3 is when they added Morgan. And it was Morgan post leaving Rick the second time.
Yeah. And so it was just Walking Dead is just, I'm done. I'm done with this conversation.
Well, how about the D&D movie?
I actually don't think that looks bad.
It's apparently, and I don't know if this is true or not, apparently it's taking a lot of its, concepts and stuff like that from, the 80s cartoon.
Sure.
I guess it's using, a similar, party makeup or something.
Look, they had a mimic in the trailer. That's all I got. I'm happy. I'll go see it. They had a mimic in there.
Now, have you ever seen the 2000 D&D movie?
No.
You should watch it.
Nah.
It could help you be a better DM.
I doubt that.
I
doubt that. Nothing can make me be better, okay? I'm terrible no matter what.
I mean, you're not wrong. But, couldn't make you worse.
Mm-hmm. True.
There's that. But yeah, they showed a trailer. I didn't watch the trailer, but people were making a lot of jokes about it, but no one seemed to say it was bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's because it's a D&D movie that, most D&D things, even the 80s cartoon, I don't think was really that good. D&D media, not D&D things, but D&D media, D&D movies and whatnot. I don't think ever really have been that good, so people are going to just mock it in general. But this one, like I said, I'm not against it. I'm not saying it's going to be the greatest thing, but the trailer looked at least solid enough to be a movie that I would go see in theaters. It's not going to be a day 1, week 1 thing, but I'd go see it in theaters if I had the time or money to go see it in theaters.
That's valid. Speaking of theaters, there are a lot of movies coming.
Yeah, there's so many movies.
Specifically, there's a lot of Marvel movies coming.
There's fucking two Avengers movies in Phase 6.
Yep, that's how Phase 6 is going to end. Which, I mean, they did that for Phase 3, too.
But that's different because that was, it was Infinity War and Endgame. It was wrapping up the whole 10-year story, and it's just, they were interconnected stories. It was a part 1 and part 2. So that, I'll give it a little bit more leeway, whereas, we're getting, the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars.
No, they are 100% going to be parts 1 and 2. They're not going to be 2, standalone movies.
But, Kang has nothing to do with, at least as far as we can understand, Kang is Kang the Conqueror. He's the multiversal traveler, whereas Secret Wars is the fucking, Skrull. Like, they're two
No.
separate enemies.
No. You're thinking of Secret Invasion.
Just don't. Don't.
That's going to be a Disney Plus series. That's the one that's supposed to. It's actually, I'm looking at the list right now. It's supposed to come next spring. That's the one starring Samuel L. Jackson with the Skrulls.
Yeah.
Secret Wars. It could be one of two things. There's the 1980 Secret Wars, which you watched the 90s Spider-Man cartoon, right?
A little bit.
Do you remember the end of that? There was like it was like a pseudo crossover where like it was like the X-Men and Captain America and all these other heroes were on like this like alternate planet with like a bunch of villains and they were fighting each other.
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, so that was the original 1985 Secret Wars where the Beyonder, like an all-powerful like god character, pulled a bunch of heroes and villains onto like his like special planet to make them like battle it out for his amusement. That's where the black suit, the symbiote, came from. But then in 2015 they did a new Secret Wars where the multiverse ended. All like different universes began to collide, and when they collided, both universes were destroyed. And it ended with the Ultimate Universe and the 616 universe colliding, and Doctor Doom figuring out how to stop it. But it basically involved him becoming the God Emperor and making this like patchwork world of all these like lost universes where like there was a whole area that was policed by Thors. And Johnny Storm was literally the sun. Like Doctor Doom kept the sun in the sky by making it Johnny Storm.
Jesus.
And yeah, just all sorts of like weird, goofy shit they did. It was actually very interesting. The guy who wrote that and that was writing Avengers up to that, Jonathan Hickman, I think he's brilliant coming up with ideas. I don't like the way he executes them. So like I was lackluster on that whole run, but like the ideas are really cool. And with them setting up this multiverse thing and having Kang not necessarily be the time traveler that he is in the comics, I feel like that could work. And because we know, so Phase 6, we know it ends with those two Avengers movies, but it starts with Fantastic Four, which means Kang can be the villain in the Kang Dynasty, and that somehow leads to Doctor Doom taking over the world in Secret Wars.
Yeah, maybe. I really hope they don't go too off the wall comic-y with these. Like, what they've built up so far with some of these other shows and some of these other characters, like fucking... If they do something to change Miss Marvel, I'm gonna be so mad because her powers aren't the same as the comics, but honestly, I like these better. So
apparently, I still haven't fucking watched it, but apparently, like they did a really good job with it, and I guess there is a scene where like she uses the TV show powers and she still does the big hands.
Yeah, she does that quite a few times. Like she still extends her hands and uses her powers, so her powers are more
It's hard light or something, right?
Yeah, it's hard light. They're connected to, it's like connected to more like not magic, but kind of magic-y. And like
because
like,
the Inhumans have been erased from existence in the MCU.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too far into it because you haven't watched it yet, but like it's really cool what they did, and the powers themselves. Like we're about to get Fantastic Four in 3 years. I don't need another stretchy person because we're about to get Mr. Fantastic. We don't need two stretchy people, but to change her powers into this hard light, but still have her think of using it as like extensions of her body, so that yes, she can jump around on little blocks of hard light, but also spoiler alert, she says in Biggin at one point, it all works.
Yeah. I'm fine with that. Like as long as it works, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
like you can't change Mr. Fantastic. Like, no. He has to be stretchy. Like, but like, like Miss Marvel, especially because she's a type of character that really, like, Marvel has tried to distance themselves from as far as the Inhumans go. Like, she's not, she 100%, I already know for a fact, she does not have the same origin in this show. Yeah. Because they have gone so hard away from Inhumans.
Yeah. And, like, their origin, it connects more to the character. It's not, she has alien blood in her. The origin is more connected to her actual personal, like, faith and ideology. Like, it's more connected to her being Muslim, which honestly better in a representation sense as well.
Yeah, and it probably does. And I do have to get around to watching that. I definitely want to watch it before the She-Hulk show comes out.
Mm-hmm.
I keep forgetting about it.
It's so good. It is my favorite of the Marvel shows so far. It is my favorite.
Well, that's saying something.
Yeah.
Well, and real quick, Cobb, to your point about what Secret Wars could be, is Marvel has called this the multiverse saga.
Yeah. And so, even the original Secret Wars kind of dealt with the multiverse. I imagine because the 2015 Secret Wars was such a big event that is the one they're going to do either way, though.
Yeah.
Like, it would be silly and like you said, like, it's the multiverse saga. There would be no reason for them to go back to the 80s, because at this point, that's not the one people think about anyway.
True.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, they did, so they told us the current Phase 4 is ending with Black Panther in November.
Mm-hmm.
And then they told us that Phase 5 is starting with Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania, which is going to include Kang and MODOK.
Yeah.
Which I can't wait to see how they try to interpret MODOK for the fucking MCU. Because there is no way he's going to be giant head, little arms, and legs.
Mm-hmm.
Just, there's no way they do that. He's probably going to end up looking something like, fucking, what's his name, looked at the end of the Hulk. The it's not Brainiac, I can't think of his fucking name. The scientist that had, like, the giant head.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember. But yeah, so that's going to start Phase 5, and then Phase 5 is going to end with Thunderbolts, which is, it's Marvel's version of the Suicide Squad. It's like villains working for the government, but like not with bombs in their head.
Okay.
Yeah. I've seen them show that. So if they're going to do anything with MODOK, anything near similar to what we all know him, it's going to be maybe what they did with the Avengers game, where like he still has the big head, but his arms and body and legs are normal size.
That's possible, because I think in theory, like MODOK in the comics, I feel like maybe his arms and legs are actually not abnormally sized, but he is a giant head the size of a person. So,
yeah, so in this one image I'm looking at, his arms come out of his fucking face.
Yeah.
So,
but also, like, you figure in the Avengers game, MODOK was an actual person.
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't know what his original origin is anymore in the comics, but like, he's a mental organism designed only for killing. Like, he's not like a person, as far as I know.
Mechanized organism designed only for killing.
That M changes quite a bit.
Yeah, according to Wiki, it's either mental, mobile, or mechanized.
Yeah, I feel like every couple of years they give him a different name.
The
acronym.
first MODOK is George Tarleton, a former employee of AIM,
arms
dealing organization,
which is who it was in the game.
Who undergoes substantial mutagenic medical experimentation, originally designed to increase his intelligence. So, I can't speak anymore because I think I know what they're going to do. Very similar to what they did with Marvel's Avengers, though. That dealt with the Inhumans, so they're not obviously not. Going
that's
Inhumans
true.
route.
They did do the whole Terrigen thing in the game. I forgot about that.
Yeah, the Avengers game was Inhumans. They're obviously not going that route because they're not doing Inhumans. So I have a feeling I know what it is. Can't say anything because I don't want to spoil things.
Yeah, we will find out in February, I think, early next year.
Yeah.
They also they announced like dates for stuff. Like, we got a date for Blade in 2023.
Or anything for like a sequel to Eternals or
no, because that movie didn't do very well.
I know, but they left like
there are definitely spots open for Phase 6 that like we don't know.
Yeah.
Like there was no Spider-Man 4 in Phase 5, so like we have to assume that there will be another Spider-Man movie. They did say Captain America is coming in 2024. It's Captain America New World Order.
I like that.
The Guardians 3 is coming next year, I believe it is. And I'm just looking at this list. I think one of the biggest things they announced was fucking Daredevil Born Again.
Yeah.
Which Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio reprising their roles from the Netflix series. So it's hopefully just a continuation of the Netflix series.
Yeah, that's I had texted you that when you sent me that, it's like, is it a play on words of like born again Christian, or and they're like bringing back like they're bringing back the original storyline, like it's Born Again but now on Disney Plus, or is it just like Born Again as in like it's its own new thing? Like,
so I think it's both. They're bringing it back from, and I have a feeling it's going to be that same. It might not be the exact same continuity, but I think it's going to be close enough that you can just kind of assume a lot of things happened.
mm-hmm.
But it's like I said to you, Born Again is also one of the most famous Daredevil storylines that is very much like, it was very much a thing that they alluded to a lot in the Netflix series. And I believe the third season kind of like loosely adapted bits and pieces of it. But like, I'm sure they're going to lean into that some for this. Look, excuse me. They're not just going to name it that way. And then did either of you guys happen to watch the Wakanda Forever trailer?
No.
It was actually a very good trailer.
Yeah, I did. I enjoyed it. I was a little emotional about it watching it. They really hit pulling those heartstrings.
Yeah, like that is definitely going to be an emotional movie.
Yeah.
I did not realize until earlier today that Ironheart is apparently going to debut in that.
Oh, really? I didn't catch that.
Yeah, like that actress is supposed to be in that movie as Riri Williams. So
okay. Like I think they released a trailer for Ironheart, or at least concept stuff for Ironheart.
There was concept stuff a while ago, but like that's one of those things where I don't remember where that. I think that's next summer, and like right now that Armor Wars Disney Plus show with Don Cheadle isn't on the schedule. So like, who knows how things have kind of shaken up?
Yeah.
But yeah, Riri Williams is going to be that, and Namor. I forgot they announced Namor was going to be in there.
I figured since they mentioned Atlantis, or at least they mentioned oceanic issues in Endgame, that the next one was going to be a battle with Atlantis. So
yeah, and apparently they're not calling it Atlantis though.
Yeah,
which is like they're calling it something else, and I forget what it is. But I wonder if that's because DC is already using it for Aquaman.
I bet you it's because DC's not going to let them. It's probably just a better, safer way to just not use Atlantis. Like, maybe they won't use the term Atlantis till the very end or something. Like, they're probably going to call it something because this is what the Wakandans called it. And then, like, once Namor, because I believe Namor is, like, a hero. Isn't he not a full-on villain? Like, isn't he more of a hero? But
he's kind of like an anti-hero for, like, early Namor in, like, the World War II era stuff.
mm-hmm.
He was like hero-ish, if I remember correctly. But then when he came back, he was a little bit more of an antagonist, and he has sort of flown between both. Like, he is also technically a mutant.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you ever look at like other Atlanteans, they are blue, and Namor is not. And Namor also has little wings on his feet, like Hermes.
Yeah.
So, like, Namor is actually a mutant. Like, I think in some stuff he is considered the first mutant, even though, like, he's not. But, so, like, he's been on, like, X-Men teams before. He has an antagonistic relationship with Black Panther and Wakanda. Like, at one point he had a fifth of the Phoenix Force and attacked Wakanda with it. So,
jeez.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I can see them doing some sort of, like, this is what Wakanda calls it, and then at the end, Namor maybe turns or whatever, or they welcome Wakanda into Atlantis. It's like, oh, welcome to Atlantis, or something like that.
Yeah, and they might. And like, I mean, like we both said, it could also very well just be they don't want to, Warner Brothers don't own the rights to Atlantis. Like, that's definitely, it's kind of like Thor and Zeus and all that stuff. Like, they're all just public domain at this point.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if it's just like, well, they already have an Aquaman movie, but like they have another one coming out shortly after this one does. Let's not cause confusions by calling it Atlantis and Atlanteans. Yeah. Let's just we'll use a different word.
This isn't the DC Marvel crossover series yet, no.
But like that movie looks like it's actually going to be really good, and I'm curious.
Yeah, it does.
I'm sure the person in the Black Panther suit is probably Shuri, and like as a character, I'm okay with that. But, like, that actress turned out to be really shitty, so I kind of hope it's not her.
I hope it's not her, because she sucks, but it's probably gonna be her, because Shuri as a character is awesome. The actress sucks. But.
Yeah, and I mean, like that character is the only one that technically I think has the rights to be the Black Panther, because it's a familial thing. So who knows? Unless like maybe they like divert expectations and it's the other dude, like the guy from like the other tribe that
I want to call him like Makoto.
I think it's M'Baku.
M'Baku, that's it. M'Baku, or they subvert expectations even more, and Killmonger isn't actually dead.
I mean,
that'd be fucking dope.
That would be really cool. I would also be okay with it being oh crap. I can't think of the actress's name. She was the voice actress for Maz in the Star Wars sequels. She was like the love interest in the first
Lupita
one.
Nyong'o.
Yes, her. Because like she's technically like a spy and like can fight and all. So like she could also pick up the mantle as like, you know, as a Black Panther. Because like you never got the like Shuri in this isn't really like a combatant.
Yeah, she's not the fighter. She's a scientist, and like it would definitely make sense to have Lupita's character play the new Black Panther, because like they were also like, weren't they like they were the love interests, and like maybe over the course of the time that we haven't seen Black Panther, they got married.
No, I mean
maybe
at least he was snapped away for 5 years. So.
Yeah, but he was snapped away for 5 years, but then he came back. But we don't know that if this time frame is going after everything else, or like since Endgame. Yeah, there's a chance that like true. He has come back, and they got married and things like that, and so it moves to her and not to Shuri, since he's technically not her heir, but she's not his heir, but she's his whatever. She's his, like, I don't know.
Yeah, and like that's the thing. Like they did not, and like I kind of wish that they hadn't shown that at all. Like even just that brief second of just somebody in the suit, because I think it would have been way cooler for that to happen completely unannounced.
That scene's going to be like early on. I have 100%. I 100% think that scene that we saw is like going to be the scene. It's a masked Black Panther who's supposed to be what's his name? you think we're going to actually see like T'Challa die in battle or something like that? Not watch him die in battle, but like it's going to be like, here's what happened for like a year or two after the blip. And bringing people into Wakanda and whatnot. Like, I think that's T'Challa, like, a masked T'Challa for, like, cutscenes or something like that. Like, cutaways, and not really the next Panther.
You know what? I hadn't thought about that. Like, they could very well do that. Like, have that be some sort of, like, thing that happened in the past, and that's, like, the last time that, like, anyone saw whatever.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, knowing, like, and, like I want to say, like, knowing Marvel movies, it is going to be, like, just, like, somebody else in the suit. But, like, Ryan Coogler is actually a really good director, and I could see him pushing for something different than that. But, like, unfortunately, like, the movie being called Black Panther, you do need a Black Panther.
It's not being called Black Panther. It's Wakanda Forever.
No, it's Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
Are you sure?
I am 100% sure.
Okay, it is. I just looked it up. I thought it was being just called Wakanda Forever, which I feel like it should just be called Wakanda Forever.
I mean, that would make sense, but that's bad branding for a giant conglomerate, unfortunately.
But it's like Wakanda Forever is so fucking big. If you look at the title card, it's because like Captain America, they put emphasis on Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Like Captain America was bigger, and the Winter Soldier was the subtitle. This is like. Right now, it's like Marvel presents Black Panther presenting Wakanda Forever type of shit. Like,
I don't disagree with you. Like, Wakanda Forever is a good, like, that would be a good standalone name. But because they're going to keep it in the like, Black Panther, branding, like, you kind of do need a Black Panther. And, like, all they said was they are not going to recast T'Challa.
Yeah. They can.
That's a good move. Like that is a good way to do it, because I don't know that, like, for how good of an actor Boseman was, like, I don't know that you could recast him and not have it feel wrong.
Well, not really potentially offensive, mostly wrong. But like, and it's just like look at Harry Potter when they had to recast Dumbledore. Like the first Dumbledore was great, and then the recast was just like, it's just not the same. Or even the Matrix, when they recast the fucking Oracle. I had to go through, like, oh, I look different because I'm a machine, basically, or whatever.
But at least that works for there.
Yeah.
And, like, Michael Gambon and Richard Harris were... So, keep in mind, different directors worked on those movies. So, like, Michael Gambon had the directors he had that made him the Dumbledore he was. Chris Columbus actually, like, his two movies, the first Harry Potter movies, were the closest to the source material. Mm-hmm. As far as, like, just, like, scene for scene goes, I feel. Mm-hmm. Or just, like, even, like, the aesthetic and the characterization. Like, after Chamber of Secrets, it definitely got more, like, this is our take on it versus, like, an actual adaptation. So, like, you know, if Michael Gambon had Chris Columbus directing him, maybe he would have been more like Richard Harris's Dumbledore.
Yeah.
We just don't know. But, yeah, like, I am interested to see who ends up becoming the Black Panther. I'm sure it's Shuri, but like you said, it'd be fucking cool as shit if somehow it was Killmonger.
Mm-hmm. Like, it would be like, that's something, like, ever since Chadwick passed away, was just something that I'm just like, man, they need to do that. They need, like, we didn't see, like, a funeral for Killmonger. We didn't see, like, a body. Like, he was dying, and he said no, but would they have actually, like, I'm sure they have a way, they could explain easily that they kept him alive in stasis or something like that. Like,
yeah, like, there are ways that they could get around that. And, like, Michael B. Jordan is a good enough actor, and mm-hmm. people, like, genuinely like him in things that, like, I don't think people would be upset if they did something, like, dumb and comic booky to bring him back, to make him, like, the redemption arc, essentially.
I mean, he was, like, the best villain in the MCU.
Exactly.
He was. Like, and, like, they don't even have to keep him as the Black Panther. Like, give him the Black Panther mantle for the multiverse saga, and then turn him into King Killmonger afterwards, and make, like, a War for Wakanda movie or some shit like that, where then a new Black Panther gets named again, fighting Eric Killmonger. Like, just continue, like, don't... Marvel has these issues, and most comic book movies have these issues of killing your villain in the first movie, except for
Unless
Loki.
You're Loki. It was his fifth one.
He died 3 times.
But it only stuck once.
Yeah. So, like, if they stop doing that, like Loki, sure, Loki is a great villain, but, like, they could have done so much better with Whiplash if they had more time with him. They could have done so much better with I'm trying to think who were the villains in the... Oh, well, no, actually, Vulture is still alive. So, we could still get a Vulture. And we could still get a Mysterio, the way they did Mysterio in this. Like, Spider-Man, somehow, they managed to not kill all the villains.
Well, I mean, except Quentin Beck is dead.
Yeah, Quentin Beck is dead, but Mysterio, how they did Mysterio in this, which I fucking love how they did Mysterio in this, is still alive.
Yeah, I guess technically, like, he somebody else could be Mysterio.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like Marvel just does have a bad habit of killing the mm-hmm. villains, and, like, 9 times out of 10, like, the villains aren't good. But, like, Thanos should have been a better villain than he was, but, like, wasn't really given a chance to be, because they just kind of mm-hmm. seeded him in and out of things.
Yeah.
But, like, somehow, like, they managed to, like, Ryan Coogler managed to write a really compelling villain with Killmonger, and then cast the right person to pull it off. Like, that mm-hmm. scene, like where he comes to Wakanda for the first time, and he, like, walks in there cocky as shit, and says, like, "Hey, auntie," to Angela Bassett. It's like, mm-hmm. oh, yeah, no, he is way more interesting than all of your other characters.
Yeah.
Man, Black Panther 1 was a really good movie.
It really fucking was.
It's up there within my top tier of Marvel movies. Like, my number 1 Marvel movie was Winter Soldier. I fucking love that movie. I can watch it nonstop. But I would say number 2 would be Black Panther for sure.
Well, and I think, like, both of them, Winter Soldier and Black Panther, are the 2 least comic booky. Like, yeah. Winter Soldier is more like a political spy thriller. Mm-hmm. Like, it has, like, over-top superhero-y stuff, but, like, it's also got a lot of just, like, political thriller stuff. And then Black Panther is also kind of like this, like, it's got the superhero stuff, but it's also just got this, I don't even know what genre it would fall into.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of it.
Also, Winter Soldier, good villain.
Yeah, Winter Soldier was a fantastic villain. Like, the story behind him, the tale behind him, and, like, even, like, Arnim Zola was a great fucking villain.
Yeah.
Like, they did very well with some of these villains, and Arnim Zola technically stayed alive being in the computer, and I wish, like, they could have done so much more with Ultron. Like, I wish they didn't kill him in the fucking second Avengers movie. Or, like, there needs to be a way for him to come back, because he's just...
I mean, he is just a computer.
He is just a computer, but, like, he could be so much better than what he was. And like, that's just, like, each of these Avengers villains, well, with the exception of Avengers 1, like, Ultron himself should have been built up more. Like, he should have been, like, something they fight through potentially multiple movies or deal with in multiple movies. Like, I don't think I really think he should have been, like, they could have made Ultron a Phase 1, the full-on Phase 1, and wait Infinity Stones for a while. Because, like, everything now uses Infinity Stones in Marvel medium. Like, even fucking Guardians of the Galaxy game is dealing with Infinity Stones. Like, you find the Mind Stone in the first area that you're in. And if it's not the Mind Stone, then I don't know what the hell a bright yellow stone could be. And, like, even the what was the other one? The Marvel, what was the brawler that was on Switch? They did the Infinity Stones as well. The Black Order. I can't remember the full title of it.
Ultimate Alliance.
Yeah.
Ultimate Alliance Black Order. They also did the Infinity Stones. Like, everything's using Infinity Stones, but, like, they really should have waited for a threat like that. I feel like Ultron should have been bigger. And should still be a big villain.
Yeah, I don't disagree. But, like, that's the one thing, like, they do a very good job of making you care about the heroes. They do a terrible job about making you care about the villains.
Yeah.
To the point where, like, the villains end up just being these, like, one-shot, like, you don't really care when they're gone because they don't do anything good to develop them. Mm-hmm. And then you have, like, those one-shots like Killmonger where it's like, oh, no, that sucks. He was actually a really cool villain and actually had, like, a potential redemption arc there that, like, you just don't get to see because they killed him in the first movie.
Yeah.
That or he was just so fucking badass and cool that, like, it would have been awesome for him to just, like, pop up and be like, hey, what's up, Black Panther? Or whoever the fuck else.
Like in comic books, where, like, nobody ever dies, and if they do die, it's not really death. They, like...
So they could have done what they did with Loki in fucking Thor 2. In Thor 2, they had Loki and they put him in the cage. And then Thor would go and talk with him from time to time, and, like, obviously we didn't get a lot of this, but they could have turned Killmonger into that, like, consultation. Somebody that Black Panther T'Challa would go to and talk with. But, like, maybe that would be a little too similar to the themes. And
also, let's roll back here and maybe not tell anyone that they should do something like Thor 2.
That's the thing, though. They should have done that like Thor 2. Nothing else like Thor 2.
That's also just the plot of Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, I'd rather him have just been like, oh, we thought he died, we just left him there, oh, turned out he didn't die, and he just randomly shows the fuck up, like, out of nowhere. Not like they knew where he was this whole time. It's just, oh shit, we're dealing with this, and now Killmonger too. You
can't do that because of the way Killmonger was supposedly died.
Right, no, in how it actually happened, no, you can't have done that. What I'm saying is, they fucking shouldn't have wrote the things the way they wrote it to begin with. Like, and, they should have had that end differently, so that, like, he could have just been around.
And that end could have simply been him, like, doing one of those, like, looking at the character as he just, like leans back and falls off the cliff into, like, water. And you're just... He was already mortally wounded, so you just assume that, like, that fall kills him. And they just leave it at that. And, you know, maybe they use it again, maybe they don't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if he's dead, cool, whatever, he's dead, but...
But also... He had Super Soldier in him. He's not fucking dead.
Did he?
Yeah.
Did he take the flower stuff?
Yeah, he did, and then he burned it.
Right. I remember him burning it. I didn't remember him actually, like, taking it the way T'Challa did.
I'm 99% sure he took the Super Soldier stuff. That's how... Because T'Challa then took it. they somehow had some left, and they gave it to T'Challa, which brought him back to life. And then that's how they were able to fight, like one-on-one and be at the same level as each other.
Yeah, I haven't watched that movie since before Infinity War, so it's been a while. I've seen like bits and pieces when it's on television, but never the whole thing.
I've watched it at least like once or twice. It's a fantastic fucking movie.
It is. It's very good. But I think that might be it for this week, unless either of you have anything else.
No, I'm good. I gotta pee.
Yeah.
Jeez, this fucking guy.
I'm leaving.
Next week we're going to do our book club where we are watching Everything Everywhere All at Once. So that should be fun. And then other than that, if you would like to find more of our content, you can head over to www.one-quest.com. You can also help us out by supporting us at patreon.com/onequest. If you can't support us there with your dollars, though, you can go to your favorite podcast platform, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher. Rate us, review us, subscribe to us. It all helps a whole bunch. You can also find us on social media, facebook.com/onequestonline or at @1_quest on Instagram and Twitter. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/onequestvideo. And you can always send us emails to social@one-quest.com. And, Rich, what's your streams?
Twitch.tv/b_walnuts. It's Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and usually Sunday from about 7 to 10 o'clock Eastern Time.
Cool. And with that, we'll be back next week with something else to talk about. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
See yous.